All right, so today we're going to do something that we haven't done for a while on the podcast, which is going to do a bit of a 3-month look back. So what's that? June, July, and August, and looking at mainly the lessons that we've learned in that time frame. What we're going to do is we're going to go lesson by lesson. So, Brennan, you're going to give one, then I'm going to give one, so forth and so forth, until we get to the 30-minute timestamp that George has given us because he's really hungry and wants his lunch. So let's go for it. Go on, Brendan. What's your first one?
So my first point is, and it's something we're probably still working on, pace of play is the title. And I want us to make sure that we're making the most of the opportunities that we've got before us and make sure that we don't half-ass things that we do.
Do you have an example?
Yes, I have. In terms of, we're joining a network of professionals and it entitles us to go to certain events, and events are coming close. I am very much of the school of thought. We both know that I operate through preparation, and I feel like we're not giving ourselves enough time to prep for those events.
Okay. What would you have done differently?
For me, I would have potentially have waited until we had all of our ducks lined up in a row before we attacked that opportunity, or just made sure we were certain we still can do a good job for that, but it's just making sure we give ourselves enough breathing space because we've got a lot on.
Okay, so I know the exact opportunity that you're talking about. The thing that I would challenge to that is the most important opportunity they bring is the evening after the thing that we're presenting.
Yeah.
So we had to sign up now, otherwise we wouldn't be able to do that.
That's fair. It's just making sure that we give ourselves enough time to attack that opportunity with everything we've got. It needs to be 100%. It can't be 50% because we're focusing on other things.
Okay. Do you feel like we are focusing on other things?
I think we've got so many different focuses. It's another point of mine that we'll come on to later on.
Okay. All right. So for me, similar line. So the network that you've mentioned is costing us circa 20k a year. That's a huge investment for a company making close to 300k in revenue. So, that's a significant percentage. So my point is head versus gut feel when making investments. So everything, when I look at the spreadsheets that I am so wedded to around profitability, sustainability, cash flow, et cetera, would tell me not to make a 20k investment right now unless it was into something that was saving time. So maybe making another hire or something like that. Like, all in my head is telling me that, but my gut told me this is the right thing to do. And it's a very difficult balance to play when you spent so long in employment where the whole process is pretty much trusting your head, following the things that have been mapped out for you, taking all emotional feeling away from decision making, et cetera, to move into what we're doing now, where most of it is guided by gut feel. It's been a difficult lesson to learn, and the thing is, you don't know if they're right. Like, we won't know if the gut feel of saying yes to this opportunity was right for the next 12 months. We'll know at the end of those 12 months when we look back and be like, okay, did we make more than the 20k? So yeah, getting used to that has probably been the biggest lesson that I've learned over the last 3 months.
Nice point. I agree to an extent. I think we've got to learn that we're still kind of new to this in essence, and if we don't go for try opportunities, we never know what we're leaving on the table. So there's a bit of that in my mind as well. So we'll wait and see if that's of benefit, but for that price and for the guarantees we've been given as well, I think it's going to be a brave move, which hopefully we can explain in future episodes. My next point is, I suppose it's on the same lines as the focus element, which we talk about a lot. I've got a client delivery problem, not in sense of, oh, it's too much work, I'm struggling, in a sense of we are spreading ourselves over a number of different kind of business ideas and want to make things work But I find myself prioritizing client delivery like you're supposed to, but sometimes I need to find that balance between client delivery and actually work that's going to set up the business for future. Does that make sense?
It does, and I think it is a big battle. Like if you're speaking to any business owner, it's a battle. But I would say that I would disagree and commit to the opposite of that. So I think if you speak to, like if we speak to the hyper successful people within our network, what is the one thing they will tell you? Build the business, forget about everything else.
Yeah.
Or delegate out everything else and things like that. So I agree, if you take the traditional school of thought, yeah, and I probably shouldn't say this on a podcast, but I'm going to say it, like the client should come first.
Yeah.
But I don't think that is the case. I think in order to deliver the best possible work for the clients, the business has to come first. Because if you're building the business, you're putting the right people in positions that are more qualified than you. Yes, you might have the experience, but are you the best person to drive a social strategy for a client? No. Are you the best person to do content writing for a client? No. But the only way you can get the best people to do those things for our clients is by working on the business. So I get the challenge. I think it's similar to my point in a way, which is if you spent the last 10 years at an agency, which we have, I'd be telling the team the exact same thing. For them, the clients do come first. So in your previous role as head of SEO, the clients did come first.
Yeah.
But that's not the jobs we're doing now.
Yeah.
We'll get back to this episode in a minute, but right now I want to talk to you about the business we're building, 1225. We get it. SEO has a reputational problem. That's why we believe in stripping things back to basics and driving real results for your business. At 1225, we're the audience-first SEO agency. We believe in centering our content around your audience's pain points and opportunities. That's why we're more than just an SEO agency. We produce video, we produce social media content, and we even produce written content to help drive results for your business. Look, here's the dream scenario. You're going to press pause, you're going to go to the description, drop me an email, then you're going to come back, press play, and we're going to get back to the episode. All right, let me see where I'm going to go next. I think I'm going to go with, I'll end on my biggest point. So I'll go with slowing down, which I think is different to what you think it is. So in prep for this podcast, Brennan and I said we're not going to share the points, we're only going to share the titles with each other. And you think, well, what I think you think I mean by slowing down and what I'm going to say are hopefully two different things. So what I mean by slowing down is pushing deadlines and giving breathing room, not necessarily taking on less opportunities. So if, for example, client delivery is a great example. We're not contractually obliged to produce, say, 6 pieces of content for a client in a week. In most agencies, they're going to get that in a month. At the moment, we're probably averaging that a week. So pushing that out to say, actually, you will get the same amount, but you might not get it at a consistency of 6 a week, 6 a week, 6 a week. To give yourself that breathing room, I think it's fine. And I think for me, I've been trying really hard to be much more intentional with the things I'm doing. So still doing all of the same things, but just allowing them to take longer. Podcast is a great example. Like George used to give me the episodes, I'd watch them at 2x speed. I would learn nothing from that 2x speed. Would I be able to potentially say, okay, we kept the camera on this person for too long or whatever? Yeah. But it didn't give me a good opportunity to really review my performances and be like, what am I saying all of the time? Like I said, the word like too much. Or what are the camera angles that are working? What are the camera angles that aren't working? So slowing the pace of that work down and just understanding that instead of getting that deadline done in 2 days, it's going to take 4 days, and that being okay is the learning that I've had over the last couple of months.
I like it. And yeah, I agree, because I think that goes to help the pace of play point from earlier in terms of making the most of opportunities. At the end of the day, we want to do good work, exciting work that delivers results for our clients. The best way to do that is to take a breath and actually think about it and do that, not do what the classic kind of approach is, just get it done now, get it out. Like that's not going to achieve anything. So yeah, it's slowing down, it's working that. But it's almost breaking down the mindset that we've had in the first year of kind of, that survival mindset. Okay, we need to almost over-service each one of our clients because we need them to stay.
Yeah, I still think we should.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that, I don't think. It's it's just being more intentional with the things that we're doing, like you say, and less up against artificial deadlines that we're putting in place, because none of our clients have any deadlines for any of the delivery. They're just internal deadlines that we place on ourselves for the sake of pressure that doesn't, in my opinion, improve outputs.
Nice. My next point then is maintaining connections. I think we mentioned something similar on that. I think we're doing a better job, but we can still get better at maintaining solid connections. Over the past couple of months, we've done a run of podcasts centered around our work with the care industry. And we're building relationships slowly with some key players, but it's how you nurture them and foster them so that they become good working relationships to the benefit of both parties. And I just think we can do a better job of maintaining those connections.
I'm shit at it. I'm shit at replying. Like, if you call me, I'll answer and we'll have a conversation. But if you want a response, you'll get it at, like, if you WhatsApp me outside of work, I can forget, like, it comes up on my watch, whatever, I forget. I am rubbish at that. And I would agree with you in terms of not biggest learning, but thing that has required the most effort and thinking time has been exactly that, which is like, if we're meeting new people, I can always remember to follow up, but then when they come back, I can be rubbish at that, or forgetting the point that they made that was really cool to, like, follow up with them on that, or saying that I was going to do something with a new connection and then forgetting about it, or when they'll say, like, hey, let's go for a gym session, or let's go play golf, or whatever, like, making sure those things happen. Some people are so good at, like, I think George is pretty good at it. Byron is exceptional at it. Like, if you message that guy, you get a message back in 10 seconds. It's infuriating. So I want to message him and then be like, cool, that's checked off the list. Gives me a day. And then he comes back 10 seconds later and I'm like, for fuck's sake. But yeah, I would agree. Like, it's so important. Probably deem it business critical, but it has definitely been the hardest thing for me to get used to.
Is it because me and you are on a scale of socially awkward to, socially brilliant? We're both awkward.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah,
I'd say so. Like,
maybe we need some training. Maybe we need to get a professional in to help us. Maybe not to that level, but you know what I mean.
I think it's just getting the reps in.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think so. Like, replying to a message, I spend, like, email, fine. Text message, when it's getting a bit more personal, I can sit on that message for a day thinking, like, what am I going to say? How do I say it? How do I word it? So yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I don't understand how either of us managed to get wives or fiancés in your case.
Or clients. All right, cool. So I'm going to go on to Brendan's avoidance tactics.
Go on, explain.
So it is human nature to avoid things that require effort. I get that. But when something is slightly out of Brendan's comfort zone, you do this thing where you will talk yourself out of doing it because of the reasons why it's going to be difficult, and then just not mention it for a couple of hours or a couple of days, or in some cases a couple of weeks, and then it might just reappear before Brendan's going on holiday and suddenly need doing.
Yeah, but these guys have got me on a podcast. They've got me recording TikTok videos. They've got me going to exhibitions and events, talking to people. I'm socially awkward, and all of it, literally, I'd say 80% of the job currently is outside of my comfort zone. So a little gripe, a little moan from time to time is good.
So there's actually a serious point in there, which is, from my side anyway, which is I am trying very hard to learn how people operate. So what I mean by that is, like, everyone is different. So the way that, like, point at George over there, like, the way that George operates as a person, the things that motivate him, the things that demotivate him, etc., are drastically different to you. They're drastically different to me. I have never been good, and I think over recent weeks you've learned where this has come from, but I have never been good at empathizing or playing to the things that motivate other people if they don't motivate me. So, for example, keeping it personal, I have definitely noticed Brendan is a praise merchant. Absolutely survives on it. Survives on praise and validation. But at the same time, one of the ways that I think you get yourself either motivated or over the line when it comes to, like, calming yourself down with stress is like, I don't know how to describe it, like verbal diarrhea to a point. Like, you need to get it all out so then you can go, actually, venting, yeah, I need to get it all out, and actually it's not that bad, and then you're okay and you move on.
Yeah.
Where as soon as you start to do that, I get a little bit infuriated. I'm like, yeah, I know, but just get it down.
Yeah.
And like learning, actually, no, that's the way that Brendan operates. That's how we get the most from Brendan, or like, this is how I operate. This is how I get the most out of myself, or this is how Matt operates. That's how we get the most out of him. Like, that's something that I'm learning and battling with on a daily basis.
You are a man of exceptionally high expectations because you give yourself you have high expectations of yourself. I'm not saying it's a bad thing at all. I just think you can't hold other people to your own expectations, if that makes sense. So you're going to have to learn that with a team. As we grow and scale the business and have a team, I'm going to have to get you down from some high places and kind of calm you down. I think it's good. I think it's motivating. Absolutely. Like Toto Wolff at Mercedes F1, he'll be the same. He'll have high expectations of everyone in the team, which I think is great. I just think at times we need to have that empathy.
You said it right. Yeah,
thank you. And yeah, I think it all leads nicely onto my next point, and that's about finding balance. I find myself still after a year in the employment mindset. I'm working for the man. I'm not. I'm working for myself. I can change up my schedule as long as the work is done. I can work when I want, kind of thing. I find myself getting annoyed, like my son. It's like, come on, get out the door. We've got to get to nursery so I can get to work on time and stuff. Why? What's 5-10 minutes going to do? Like, I'm trying to get less, like, stressed, if you would, with little things so that I can focus. And I think for me, it's about finding a balance between the two things that I really like, which is obviously family on one side, being there for the kids and spending time with them, and work, building this project essentially into something. And it's finding that balance. And I think also I don't know what it is, but in a world of content, I'm getting more and more distracted with things. You see it all the time. You tell me, like, I'm on LinkedIn all of the time.
Oh my God. Literally this morning. So Brendan says, I'm going to come here for 8 a.m. so we can do an hour of prep before starting to film at 9. Anyway, most of that doesn't happen. But then you go to me, just as I'm starting to like get the studio ready, I'm just going to get a couple of these client redirects done, and then I'll be up. I'll come back in, open the door. He's just scrolling LinkedIn. Couple more redirects.
But my point is, I'm trying to, like, even on dog walks, I'd be listening to all of the podcasts because, like, cramming, like, all of the information. For the past 2-3 weeks, I've gone on dog walks without my headphones so I can just have a walk, just clear the mind, get the thoughts, because running a business, you have a lot of thoughts running through your head all the time. And that's what I'm trying to find balance in everything that I'm doing at the minute. And it's something that I'm going to have to keep learning over the next few months at least.
I had an interesting conversation with someone literally 15 minutes ago on that, so I'll fill you in on some learnings I had from that conversation as well. All right, I got 2 more, and I think I'm going to go with... I say I have 2 more, maybe I have 3 more.
Okay.
I'm going to go... Actually, it's the same point, so no, I'm not going to. I was going to say multiple focuses, but I think it's the same point, which is it's difficult to find balance. But I think having taken a step back on that, it's learning to eliminate or delegate the things that are stopping you having that balance. So there's no good way of saying this without making you look like a dick. But a good example is I have OCD. So I probably lose multiple hours a week of present family time or working time on cleaning. I could quite easily delegate that out to somebody to clean for me, but I haven't. And you'd look and go, maybe it's a financially irresponsible decision to make when your business is still young, etc., etc. But it would enable that time to be used in things that are going to be more beneficial to finding that balance. So yeah, I think we've made 2 very similar points, but I would say that I think the thing that we both need to take a look at is in our working day and in our personal lives, where are we losing the time And I don't mean that in terms of could be invested in the business. I mean just in losing that time in the things that we want the balance in. So if I'm not able to play golf as much as I want to, for example, in my life, because I have to go do this other thing that adds no value to my life, but you have to do it, why am I not delegating that out? Or just eliminating it completely?
Yeah, exactly. Or realising it's about sacrifice. There has to be some sacrifice. If I'm going to take the time to take my son to nursery each and every day because I like doing that, where's that extra half an hour? If that takes half an hour, that takes half an hour from my time later on in the day. If I want to sit down and watch TV for an hour, watch TV for half an hour, just so I've got extra time to work. So yeah, it's all about finding that balance. So
we've got 8 minutes on George's strict schedule, so I reckon we've got one more point each.
Getting more leverage in negotiations. We're a new business, so we've fought tooth and nail, if that's the same.
That is
I don't know why I try and use
that was a good one.
Okay, good, thanks.
Do it again, it will be more powerful.
No, I'm done there.
We fought tooth and nail. Yeah. Come on, give us the journey.
But it's about, we know our value. We know how much it costs to produce good work for clients. But we find ourselves in negotiations, oh, that's too much, we'll pay you this. And we're like, okay, yeah, just sign and we'll sort something out. That's fine. Now we're in the position, I think, to go, no, we're good. This is our cost. This is our price. We are going to deliver you results. You have to pay us X, Y, Z. We've had the perfect example with the network that we're joining. The guys there said, no, we don't come down. We don't negotiate on price because this is the value that you will get. And I think we can maybe somewhere in the middle. I'm never going to say to a client, no, we're not going to negotiate, or a supplier, we're not going to negotiate. But I think we can now be in a stronger position moving forward based on the experience that we've had in the past year. So for me, that's a positive and something that we've got to learn to be a bit, I've got to learn because I'm a nice guy. No, we can be a bit bolder with our negotiations.
I think it's a tough balance though, because I think it very much depends on where you are in a business's life cycle. So I think you either choose to do that from day one and understand that it's going to take time for you to grow and get things over the line, or you try and pivot when you get to a certain milestone of comfortability and, sustainability. And then it's up to us to make a decision on where we get to. Obviously, we took the decision that early on, our strategy is onboard as many of the right fit customers, even if they're at slightly wrong pricing. And then as we grow, we can then become firmer on price and things like that. I agree with you on, I don't know if leverage is the right word in terms of sticking to this is the cost for us to deliver the best possible service. I agree. But I think we can maybe be more introspective as well and go, why are people questioning the value?
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
other ways, like we're doing this now for the new project that we're working on. It's like, what are the objections? What are the blockers? Why are people saying, actually, do you know what, that 3K fee is too high? Because it's maybe a communication problem that we're not showing the value for that 3K, right? Like if one of my deepest loves, watches, like I never look at a Rolex watch and go, that's not worth that. Some people would, but like I don't, because I intrinsically in my head understand that value. So we need to be making sure that we're communicating that value.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay, all right, my final point. And yeah, this is, I don't know if I should bring this one up, but I'm going to go for it. So I am the finance person of 1225 and any of the other ventures that we have happening.
I'm waiting for something that I've done here.
No, there isn't anything.
Okay, good.
But
good.
I mean, but as you brought it up,
this
highlights Brendan's avoidance tactics. Brendan will leave all of his receipts until I chase him like 3 or 4 times. You did it the first time last time, but it's because you wanted something in return.
Hold on, can I just? I've got a little story for you to show the lengths that you've got into my head. So, me and George were travelling back from Warrington the other day from a shoot. We binned our lunch rubbish in a plastic bag. The receipt from that lunch was in the bag. I went through the bin to find the receipt. The receipt was covered with coffee as well. So I've taken a picture of it. I'll show you, but I'm doing my job. I'm listening to it.
Returns
yeah, exactly.
That is so fun. What Brendan normally does is if he buys something and we're together, is he'll try and put the receipt in my pocket when I'm not noticing, so he doesn't have to deal with it. I'm the finance person of everything that we have going on. I like a spreadsheet. I like making sure we're sticking to budgets, etc., etc. The one thing that I struggle with is the balance between sustainability and taking money out of the business. So there is a balance to be found that I don't think I'm very good at it. So for example, you put in an expense claim the other day. Perfectly reasonable, which is fair enough, but it infuriated me. Because I just struggle with the concept of seeing the profitability or the money in the bank account go down for things that we can control. Like if they're investments and things like that, I kind of get it. But I struggle with it more generally. Even like when we had to make that investment the other week, or as we were investing in the new venture, like the money is obviously becoming lower in the bank account because it needs to go there. You have to spend money to make money sometimes. But in terms of, I guess, self-reward for that money, I struggle with that slightly, and I know I'm wrong, but I still struggle with it. So I don't like taking money out of the business. I don't like paying myself, which is crazy because like when you're doing this for financial freedom. But I'm a wrongly bought into the principles of years and people gone by where the pride was in the struggle. So I personally, in my head, find it more comfortable to struggle for 3 or 4 years to then have a big reward. Whereas like that doesn't have to be the way that it is done. So learning to get more comfortable with a lower margin in order to take money out of the business is something that I have to work on. But there is a balance to be found as well, because obviously we need to be sensible of everyone's futures that the company now employs.
Yeah, I agree. I understand.
Empathizing
with
you're
you
close, yeah.
on your task there. It's breadline. We're both breadline. You've obviously got wedding to pay for.
Mm-hmm.
We're paying ourselves minimum wage, and my wife is currently on maternity leave and only getting maternity pay. So we're literally breadline. So just the example with the expenses, for instance, it's almost like that helps bankroll us to next month so that we can afford things. So yeah, I understand what it's like and the reward and stuff like that. It's a difficult play because you want it's the levers that you pull. It's like the long-term kind of value and the amount of money you could potentially get out of the business that way, to the kind of more lifestyle business, like, oh, okay, we're making lots of money, let's pay ourselves a decent wedge each and every month. So yeah, I understand.
Yeah, and it's the cash flow thing as well, right? Like more practically, which is we speak to other startup businesses that are maybe slightly younger or slightly older, and one of the big problems that they're always battling is cash flow.
Yeah,
we never, touch wood, we've never had that problem.
No.
Like we can pay our suppliers on time, and our employees on time, even if our clients aren't paying us on time, which is unfortunately something that we're experiencing quite a lot at the moment. Yeah. But it's just nature of business. But we've kept ourselves financially secure in order to do that. I think it's like I said, the thing that I will survive on. I said this to you, I should say, like over the next couple of months and into the other ventures and things like that, is just having, like, making it black and white for me. Like, okay, if it's this, then we do this. If it's this, then we do this. If it's this, then we do that. So I can't feel a certain way about it, even if that is how I feel, if that makes any sense.
You have a very open mind when it comes to certain things like opportunities and how we're going to do things. And you can see, okay, you can set out plans and roadmaps and do this, that, and the other. But also some of your beliefs you're very closed on, like the finance, like you've just explained. You're close to that. No, that's the way it's done. That's how other people have made their money. That's how I'm going to do it. So it's kind of working out and being flexible across all areas of your mindsets that will help there.
Yeah, I think it's principles. Like I have these deep-rooted principles that have come from somewhere. I don't know why, but breaking them is important, and then just finding the balance between them is difficult.
Yeah, it's mad because you're a natural born businessman in my mind, and it took from the moment we met. You always said you were going to start a business. It took 10 years of pushing from my side to actually make you do the jump. I mean, you've had all sorts of harebrained ideas and Finally, we got you to where you're naturally meant to be. So
now we've got
that's
3 of
just-
them.
That's just to show what it's like with your mindset. So final point I wanted to end on, unless we've got any kind of more business kind of related points that you want to add.
I'll give you one bonus one, which is on
I've
the
got that
which
as
is
well.
on the principles line as well.
Okay.
Which is I'll give you a personal anecdote to this as well. But one of the questions that we're coming up against quite a lot at the moment is like, are you guys using AI to generate my copy, or are you guys using AI within the business, etc., etc. And I think something has developed culturally since like ChatGPT has really become a thing of there is pride in not using AI. And quite often that I would take that as well as like, no, I'm going to do these podcast structures without the help of AI, etc., because I'm human. I'm going to make it better. It's wild, absolutely wild. We need to take a step back and really look at that. It's a tool to help efficiency. I was able to do 3 podcast prep docs to as higher quality, if not higher, with the help of AI in a fraction of the time. And I don't know what, there's like this nobleness that has appeared of like, no, I don't need to use AI. But if you're a client and we're saying, yeah, we use AI to generate your content, or partly, we'll obviously use a hybrid approach, but if we are, you're getting more and higher quality content, more factually accurate. Why wouldn't you want to do that? So I think, there's a nobleness that has developed around the use of AI.
Yeah, I don't know what the word is. I agree with you, but I don't when it comes to nobleness, because any successful agency is using AI. Just a lot of them will say to clients, no, we don't use AI. They do use
that's my
AI.
point, because of the nobleness.
Yeah. Every agency that is successful these days is using AI. They just sometimes lie that they don't use it. So agencies that are open and honest about AI usage, they're the ones that you can trust, in my opinion. So, okay, my final point, and I labelled it personal endeavours. It's one of the bonuses of working with you, with George, with Matt in the office. Like, outside of work, you all want to get better in a range of things, mindsets, mental health, through to physical health, like getting to the gym, working out, doing bits and pieces, exercises. It's a motivating culture that I'm enjoying, because it's getting me to the gym each and every morning at 5 a.m. Like, it's that drive. It's like, it's almost become a competition for me. It's like, you boys all talk about your workouts or what you're doing. George has got a personal trainer, for instance. Matt's off running marathons and so on. And I'm like, I'm not going to be the weakest link in that office. I'm going to keep pushing. But I just think that fosters like the motivation. And if you can get that from the people you work with, I think that's a huge benefit. And I think it's something that we'll need to continue to strive for with any new team members that join us. Not telling them they have to be gym
You have to run a marathon. If you don't,
No,
you can't join.
Yeah, but just having that positive impact on other people's lives, and hopefully I'll contribute towards that. Like, but
I think that's on a serious note, I think that's a cultural thing that is, we've spoken about a lot about this before, which is, cultures happen. I don't necessarily think they're created. Like, you can enable them and you can allow for them and things like that, but that's purely just through like syncing up with like-minded people that has developed. If you like, organically, it's very difficult, I think, to create that.
Yeah, I agree.
Cool. All right. Well, we've actually gone 5 minutes over George's allotted 30-minute segment.
He's staring at us. He's like
starving. This man needs
cut
his
it.
food. So I think, unless there's anything from you, then we can end it.
No, all good.
All right. Nice one. We're done.